Video request. Oh, good heavens. Who is George Lissacase? Interesting request. We met at Uncle Pete's, as they call it, Satellite Electronics on Main Street in 1987 with Alec Shereshevsky. Okay. Are you John Hutchison? He said. Yeah. I'm George Lissacase. He had our industries at the time. A small company. I forget exactly, in Vancouver somewhere, with Alex Shereshevsky. They're working on a something with Alex Pizarro oil detection machine that they actually kind of stole from Alex Pizarro, other partner. So anyway, skipping right along. At that time, I broke away from Pizarro and George Hathaway, and was on my own doing TV shows, well, the media and other things and other crazy things. And wow, it's a long time ago when the galaxy's young. I met Yin in '86. She went back to Los Angeles. She had a film company. Anyway, so Georgie got funding from Aaron Kovacs from Boeing Aerospace Company and some others, $80,000. I remember that as a start. We moved from the Murchie Tea Building, 560 Cambie Street, Vancouver, British Columbia, to 13th and Kingsway in Burnaby, Vancouver area. Okay, so you can see the 1989 lab, as it's called, or 88 actually, on a black and white video I did. Anyway, we did set everything up. It took a while, a lot of work, and got everything prepared. We did a lot of experiments there. George was doing something with the transformers, causing something to happen inside of them, which caused them to go off the foundation, maybe a half inch or an inch or something like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but George has his own things, and he's highly interested in a lot of stuff, as well as Alec. So Alec and I got along fine. George and I would get into arguments, and I one day said, I'm going to call the scrap people and get rid of all this stuff. We don't stop this war between the three of us. Anyway, wow, long time ago, huh? Anyway, we did more experiments. We were working on crystal power cells, barium titanate, Zener diodes, special diodes, and George loved working on Alec too, by the way. What we used to do with these things is barium titanate pieces and parts and transducers and things, and put it onto a ordinary handheld meter. It's things you get for $10, you know, and measure microamps, volts, and all that, and had us walk around the streets in Vancouver with these things, looking at the variations in voltage and microvolts in these transducers, the barium, the Zener, and actually Rochelle cells and power cells. Quite interesting. George kind of loved that for some unknown reason. But things kind of moved along. Things got tight. I got an invitation letter of invitation, which I still have, from Dr. Peter Kokoshnik, Roland Brito, Dr. Margarita Kokoshnik, to move to Germany, and as well as Jan Gasta would arrange everything, which he did do. And we understand that things were getting more stressed. The George Lissacase locked me out of my laboratory at the time because I was explaining I wanted to leave and ship everything to Germany, blah, 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 blah. So I've got a court order that I am allowed in my lab and all this stuff, and as it was called, it was basically a big collection of vintage electrical machinery and other things, and machine guns and cannons and machine tools. Anyway, so anyhow, time moved on. Yen and I broke into the lab, and she had hired a truck and security guards and got some of the stuff out. However, George showed up with the local constabulary, the police, and said, the police said, look, because George is screaming and yelling and going crazy. He said, you guys got to settle this in a court. This is too much. So that's what we did do. BC Supreme Court case. I have the papers, the full case, which I showed in another video, by the way. Anyway, so we proceeded to move off. Some of the effects were, I captured some of them. Metal jellification, which you can see on the old black and white film, which is uploaded on the internet now. Took a while to get that up there. Holy mackerel, I got lots more to go. But anyway, metal things falling apart, nails going through the walls, boxes of nails. Alec captured a lot of stuff. Tools going funny. I'm rather funny too. So, plus his building turned invisible, according to George and Alec. George, he wanted to get all this stuff insured, but the agents to insure it couldn't find the building. But they gave the location. They noticed the 88 food market right beside it and the hospital right beside it. You can't miss the building. It was not there. It turned invisible. And others said that as well. Something weird happened. Anyway, I took background radiation measurements with a Geiger counter around the building and on top of the roof, and I noticed that around 75 feet or more or less, the background radiation dropped considerably to zero. Whatever all that means, it's kind of intriguing. So anyway, moving along. Phew, so Ian and I escaped off to Munich, Germany. However, there's a bunch of lawyers, Hutchison, Kowalski and company were looking after the lab and the courts and all that stuff, and the lab was going to be shipped by shipping containers. From what I hear, this is really weird. I don't know the full details. Anyway, Old Cargo Express, Ron Kipperling was in charge of that. He loaded the containers. The containers were sabotaged. Let's see. A levitating transformer off the back of a truck hit George Lissacase, put him in the hospital for 3 months. And Alec managed with all his strength, being a Soviet Russian guy, lifted the transformer up. By the way, I'm still friends with Alec. We like each other. We have parties. We get together once in a long time. I have a George falling on, a transformer falling on George party celebration thing. Anyway, so in Germany, the fax machine was humming all the time to Roland Brito's place, 142 Tiger City Landstrasse, apartment 4, something like that. The lawyers were saying we wouldn't believe what's going on. They called in psychics, they called in parapsychologists. Things were floating around, things were happening. He says, this is unbelievable. According to the lawyers, I saved all the faxes, by the way. So all of this is going on. I sort of just let it go. Then later I found out that journalists brought in a newspaper from the Vancouver Sun, front page news, several province, Vancouver province, TV shows, or TV news. The lab was secretly taken to a storage site in Surrey, British Columbia. A fence was put around it and everything's put in storage. Oh, well that's different. What about the container? Was that taken to put in storage too? I don't know. So as time passed, I had adventures in Germany for several years. Then things between Ian and I got stressed a bit, and I went to the Canadian consulate. Canadian consulate contacted Bob Garuski at CarCheck Canada, who is a Canadian Security Intelligence Service officer who paid for a plane fare back to Vancouver. And I just went back to Vancouver, took all my guns with me, which I collected over there, and you can see in some of the videos that they have firearms unloaded. So all of that is kind of intriguing, which I still have some of the guns. Anyway, so returning, I met with a government official, Richard Glue, who handed me the documentation, what happened, what transpired, and took me to Sureguard Mini Storage in Surrey, British Columbia. He gave me the key, said, "This, we saved this for you." It was my machine gun collection, which was 50 BMGs and Berettas, Lewis machine gun, BAR, plus antique rifles and pistols and all kinds of junk. And then electronic stuff, actually a lot of it, plus some of the big coils. That I put in my sister's garage, 911 Dublin Street, New Westminster, British Columbia. It was full, packed full. So I got fed up with everything basically, and I'm real regretting getting rid of my machine guns and all the guns and stuff that I had. Like, gee, John, a dumbass me, huh? Which I did do. I got rid of it. Sold it through Triple B auctions. And the gun collection, the other stuff I took to the scrapyard. It's just pathetic. I regret it, you know, to this day. Anyway, because I was invited to live in Germany. And I went to the police station and got my papers and documents, no criminal records or anything like that. Mentally sound, blah, 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 you know how it goes. And so I was all prepared to go. Yin comes over to New Westminster, British Columbia. We get together again. She gets an apartment in there, and that's a submarine apartment, you see. Anyway, so George, this case, went off, vanished for a long time, went off and formed X Energy Company, developed the field stress detector, which is actually the property of, supposedly the property of the Pizarro family, the original machine. And he developed a way to detect oil, gas, minerals, water with this device, which is basically Rochelle salt and barium titanate cylinders and parts and pieces and transducers. He made a computer recognition circuit, and he forbid Alec to follow this routine. Alec and I remain good friends. And John go over a lot of different things that did happen. Alec and I are still good friends. We communicate by emails, and we hope to get together down here soon. So I wanted to just follow up on George Lissa case, prompted by a video I saw last night on YouTube of Georgie talking away. It's sad that George turned so nasty. I guess he never communicated to me or anybody else, but he had high hopes for the levitation stuff, I think. But he then, of course, instead of making power cells and things with barium titanate, center diodes, Rochelle salts, and all that, he went the other way, which I suggested to my investors years ago. Make a detector out of it, which he did too. And he says he had one time $70 million from the Stephens Group. So it is amazing, and luckily whatever I say, I have pictures, videos, and all the paperwork that went with this whole thing. So hopefully I can get an upload on the internet, and just for the hell of it. I'm kind of a historian, a curator. I like vintage stuff, machinery, gun stuff, tools, machine tools, studying vintage everything, electrical machinery. So in a way, and I keep going around in the past events, but heck, it's something I think should be on the internet, I suppose, or on YouTube, or whatever, or the TV show, or Discovery Channel documentary. Because whatever I say, I can always back up with videos or papers or documents or letters and things. So anyway, I was just on the milling machine today, making a part for a lathe, having fun doing that. I like doing that kind of thing. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an inventor. I keep telling everybody that, okay? I am who I am. I think Popeye the Sailor said that, didn't he? I think laughing, I like feeding ravens, I like animals. I like simple things. I don't like paperwork. I don't like all this blah, whatever's going on in the world, you know. Anyway. Now I am a fighter, because I did fight several court cases a while ago on gun control in Canada with Trudeau, telling him off. So don't mess with me, because I can very nasty, sneaky little bastard I am.
Very naughty little bugger. I'm a naughty little bugger.
So that's some of the stuff on Georgie. No, not. I had really no bad feelings for him. I didn't like the idea that he got hurt and all that. I wasn't there, but man, that's. I don't like anything getting hurt. It's not fair. One-winded me, huh? How many minutes is this thing? Ooh, 15 minutes long. I was gonna do it in the afternoon and sit down somewhere else and do this, but I may do it now and get it out of the way. I gotta clean up the mill and some other things I gotta do. So, well, there you have it. It used to be called Pinnacle Oil International. Alec had a copy of the test results of the actual machine in operation. It was very quite impressive to detect earthquakes and oil, gas, minerals. Lydia in Greece wants one of my barium cylinders to go archaeology stuff because I know how to build these things. But I'm selling the bariums on eBay. Anyway, I gotta go. Hmm. Not low tonight, huh? Whoops.
Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Oh dear.
Yeah, it's all about study psychology today, folks, and learn about all the taboos that are manufactured through religion. Wars and religion, huh? Now we got coronavirus, which have been around since the 30s. Discovered in the 30s, have probably been around for 1,000 years. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. I'm going on a tangent.
I'm going on a tangent.
And acting silly and on a serious topic, I think. Just trying to think of anything else that comes to my mind with that little chapter of my life, which was a couple of years. Excuse me. Yeah. But look at the 1989 lab. Oh, good heavens, you hear that? The ravens are characters. They call me out to talk to them or feed them. Anyway, can we see outside? Oh, no, don't. Okay, I gotta shut up now, but if you have questions, hi George. I'm glad you are successful and happy. You seem to be in this interview. Well, they were indeed my partners at one time. Didn't work out. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.